We're here twice a week, and today we're in season 4. What we're going to be talking today is, are you struggling with juggling with the new schedule of back to school with work responsibilities? So that's what we'll find out today with our amazing guest. Welcome. We're here today with Frank and Tazima, and we're going to be talking about back to school. Many of us have children that are back to school, and we still have our working schedule. The summer schedule is a bit disturbing, and now the fall season, we've got to readjust all these schedules. So let's find out how we can handle that with our business. And now we'll have a few questions to answer. So, oh yes, the co-host from the couch. So if you're watching this episode live, place your comment on the chat, and any remark, comment, question. We want one speaker to elaborate. Put it in the chat, and we'll see how we can accommodate you. And every comments are welcome. So our first question: we're here. Why are you passionate about helping people with their lifestyle using your zone of genius? So I will start with Tazima.
Ah, yes. My zone of genius is talking about sex with people because it is what I have found is that both sex and pleasure are both quite taboo topics, and people tend to avoid them, and because so many people avoid them, they end up having a bunch of questions that go unanswered, sometimes for years at a time. And what I have found in my personal growth journey, as well as what I've created for myself in programs and content, is that once we actually get talking about this, especially for my target market who are high achieving people pleaser women over 35, is that they end up unlocking basically a lot of personal power that wasn't available to them. So it's not just personal power, and we're talking about kind of getting our schedule together. This is the power to say no to other people, so you're not running around doing a bunch of stuff for everybody else, so that you actually end up rising from the bottom of your list to the top of your list.
Mm. Yeah, that's so important. I keep saying that too, our endless to do list. And where are we? Right there at the bottom, right? So move
Yes.
that, take care of yourself first, and then things will go so much better.
Hmm.
So, Frank, that's your turn. And the question was, if we can have it on the screen again, that would be useful. Yes, why are you passionate about helping people with their lifestyle using your zone of genius?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show for starters. I'm passionate about helping people avoid needless suffering, the whole idea of being overwhelmed and stressed that people experience. And I do this by helping people recognize that it's the way their mind processes the situation and assesses it that creates most of the challenges. So my zone of genius is to help people gain the right relationship with their mind that allows them to assess their situation calmly and find something that works for them. So the idea that time, as we're talking about it, is not absolute. There is a way in which we can experience time where we can get the most important things done without necessarily experiencing that feeling of overwhelm. And that's where I
Mhm.
kind of help people.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's awesome. I mean, he's my brother from another mother. Uh, and because as a serenity expert, I also help people with their mindset and helping them, reprogram their brain so that whatever is happening in their life, they can choose to have it in a positive way as opposed to get all stressed out. And that's why I'm passionate about helping people with their lifestyle, because I mean, your lifestyle is what you make of it. You can choose to be stressed out. Sometimes we don't think, well, I don't choose to be stressed out, but it's always a choice. You can wake up in the morning and, as we say, wake up at the wrong side of the bed, but you can consciously be in bed, and before you even open your eyes, to say, today, regardless of what's happening, I'm going to have a great day. And that's choosing. So we can always choose. You can't be sad and happy at the same time. You can't be angry and happy at the same time. So it's always a choice. And that's how I can help people with my Zone of Genius of Serenity expert, to empower them to really make that choice every day, every second, everything that happened. You have the choice to decide how the rest gonna happen. Fantastic. Wow, what a great panel. So now, why is time management important for professionals to thrive in their life and business? So why is that important?
I'm going to bust in and break. I'm going to bust in and break the rules by saying that because time is not fixed. Frank mentioned that a little bit. Time is actually kind of fluid and flexible, and it's how we actually show up to whatever it is that we're doing, whether that's stressing out or slaying the day, or doing a really great job or doing a poor job. How we show up is going to determine part of that. So part of what I do and talk about with the pleasure portion of my work is I help folks prioritize pleasure, and specifically women, because of how women's brains work. But basically, the more that you prioritize pleasure and actually get yourself nourished, this is for women, not men. Men's brains work a little differently. I'm talking about the ladies here. So if you have a womb, I'm talking to you. And so when you take that time to prioritize something that is pleasurable and actually nourishes you deeply, you'll be better able to show up and make better use of your time, be more present with the people around you. You being pleasured up actually serves others,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes,
serves your efficiency as well.
that's fantastic. Yes, absolutely. I mean, knowing, the time that we have and how we are acting into that time, I think it's super important. So Frank, what do you have to say about that?
Well,
Why is time management important for professionals to thrive in their life and business?
right. Well, I'm going to answer this one with a poem because I think it says it all. Time absolute, my time, your time. Time for this, time for that. Summertime shuffle. This time zone, that time zone. Zigzag, jet lag, sleeping hacks. Where did the time go? Felt we had more time. Took my time to spend it. Squeezed the value out of it. Then I ran out of time. 24 hours a day was my lot. Now I'm trying to find time I had so carelessly lost. Turns out time once gone is nowhere to be found. Oh, right. Set about to make time for those that matter. That may work for money, but no time factory exists. Every moment counts. Do they count the same? Respect my time. Show up on time. Spending the most valuable resource of all. This is, of course, till you find flow. Get present with intention, paying full attention. Then time slows, so it seems, time relative as I experience it. And so
Woo.
that is what I say. Find flow, and you will find time, and you will enjoy what you're doing.
100% agree.
Wow, that was awesome. Woo! It's great. I love it. I
Extra
love it.
points.
I love it.
Extra points.
I'm almost speechless. Like, okay, what else can I say after that? So, time management, I mean, those two people have put it all together so well. And part of the poem from Frank say that, time lost, you can't get back the time lost. And that's why I always say that whatever happened even a second ago or a fraction of a second ago is behind us. We can't change it. So being present is the best time to manage your time, is to be where you are at the moment and be there 100% no matter what, and pay attention to what's happening in your life, because this way you will be present, you will be here, and things will slow down in a good way. You'll notice that you have more time, because whatever you do it with full presence and totally focus on what you do. And it's not an easy task to do. It is something that you can learn and you can develop and you can train your brain to work this way. So thank you, all of you. It's so awesome. Yeah, Monica said, love that poem. Me too. We'll have
Lovely.
to put it in the chat somehow. And why is time management important? No, that's not the one we wanted to share. There we go. So we have another question coming up. All right. How has a lack of balance between a problem for you in the past, and how did you overcome it? So we'll start with Frank this time. Maybe we'll get lucky to have another poem, but he doesn't have much time to go pick it up.
Right. So in the past, I've had problem with balance because of my motivation. So my motivation was I want to be successful so that people feel that I'm important and so that I can feel that I'm enough. So as a result of that, I spent all my time doing things that I believed were important. But it turns out, coincidentally, all those things were things to do with work, because that's where I got my sense of validation and value from. But when I began to realize that nothing out there is going to make me feel enough, no matter how much I chase it, then I began to realize that what if I lived life believing that I was enough? And then knowing that I was enough, what would really then matter at that point? And then I found that the balance came in, because I recognized the value of family. I recognized that all those people out there, no matter how much you did, if you fell sick, if you burnt out, they'll continue and find other ways of doing what they needed to do.
Mhm.
Your family are the ones who are going to pay that price. And they're the ones who are going to be there when everything else out there might not be. So I that just reevaluating that and recognizing that really helped me focus on what mattered. And so balance came into play.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. Yeah, it's something that we need to evaluate, right? And I'll get my answer in a second, but we'll go with Tazima and see how she's worked with that in the past.
Yeah, I'll tell you the very short version of this story of how I found out that pleasure is a feminine superpower. So it was back in COVID time, which is still kind of happening, sort of, that when we were completely in lockdown and I was really stressing about transitioning my business and like I put a lot of pressure on myself and tried to create like online programs and all this stuff. And I burnt myself out, and it was a lack of balance because I was putting so much pressure, similar to what Frank was saying about the wanting to be successful. But what I lost in that moment was I was so focused out there that I wasn't paying attention to what I needed. And I kind of broke down and I quit everything. I literally quit my business, which anyone who knows me directly is like, you did what? And so in that quitting, it actually created space. And I started from like sort of a blank slate. And I was like, what can I do that will get me functional? Like, what would make me happy enough so that I could wash the dishes, for example? Happy enough so that I can leave the house. Because it was hard. I was in an emotional distress. It was challenging. Everything that I had been used to went away. Literally, the way that I brought new people into my business went away. And what I found out was that deeply nourishing pleasure, the things that I like to do, the things that actually give me a deep, yummy nourishment, gave me more capacity. It expanded my capacity to do more stuff. And so it wasn't just washing the dishes and leaving the house. It was, oh, now I can take a look at what I want to plan for the next promo that I'm going to do, or invite someone or follow up with them. And so creating that that opportunity for myself really was finding the gift of pleasure. And then I got the bonus note about pleasure, which was that it helps me hold boundaries as well. And so saying no to what wasn't pleasurable to me and what wasn't working for me was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It was fascinating, and it's still sort of a magical thing that occurs for women specifically when we prioritize pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Learning to say no is so instrumental. And we have Yoelan that says, what if I live life as if I were enough? And then she said, that was right on time for me. And that's true. We are enough. All of us, all of you listening, you are enough because you are who you are right now. Can you improve? Yeah, perhaps. We can all improve, but you are enough as you are right now. So that's a big thing that many people always struggle to achieve being enough, right? It's just like just who you are right now. And for me, the lack of balance has been a problem when I moved in Vancouver, British Columbia, 27 years ago now, coming up next month in September, tomorrow. Um, and and when I moved here, I was coming out of a relationship that was without money and all that. So I had lost my identity and I lost my balance. We didn't do anything else but staying at home and don't do anything else. And it was just a relationship that wasn't working so well. And at some point I just decided to go and to move on. And when I arrived here, I didn't know who I was. I had no balance. I didn't know what I wanted to do for fun. I didn't know what kind of food I like. I didn't know who I'd like to have as friends. And as I took a bit of time and introspect of who I am and what I want in my life, what kind of work do I want to do, what kind of food do I like if I go to a restaurant, all of these things, it took a bit of time to dig in and pull them out. But then I discovered me. I discovered the person that I am and the person that I wanted to be, as opposed to just being the person that's broke and without money. So there was a big shift in my personality. And then I learned to also become 100% responsible for what happened to me at that time. And by taking full responsibilities, I stopped saying it's not my fault. And that gave me all my power, because when I was saying, oh, it's not my fault, he did it or she did that, or then you deresponsibilize yourself and you lose all the responsibility you have in your life. So if I wanted to be happy, if I want to be enough, it's because of me. I don't want to be enough because somebody else tell me that I'm good enough. I don't want to be the best human being because somebody give me compliments and all that. I'm responsible for how I respond in my life and how I live my life. So that's pretty awesome when we're able to do that. So thank you so much, Frank and Ilan. And then Yo says, seeing pleasure outside of the realm of sexual, new to me, and seems exciting to explore. Well, book a call with Tazima.
You got just the lady here.
And then Monica say, I only do what I want to do because my resentment is too high of a piece to pay for anyone. Yeah, you don't want to resent situation because you didn't do what you wanted to do, because that just build up. Maybe one time you say, just one time I'll do what they want, but then it builds up, and then the next time, and the next time, and next time, until the volcano explodes. And
And
then
let me just say this here as
Absolutely.
well, since we're on this point, is that pleasure is the antidote to resentment. It is, but you have to know what brings pleasure to you.
Yeah.
5, yeah, you could. I'll get you on my calendar, Yolanda. Thank you. But one thing I did want to say is that specifically about non-sexual pleasures, my practice, I did a pleasure practice, and I encourage my clients to do it. And that pleasure practice is 5 things that I did before that were just for me, that I did before I did other things, before I talked to other people, before I showed up for a meeting, before I did, grocery shopping or whatever. I just did 5 things for myself, small things, or throughout the day if I didn't get them right at the top of the day. And they were all things like looking at the sky, meditating,
Yeah.
writing in my journal, breathing deeply, moving my body. And that was it.
Yeah.
And then I show up for my day and I felt fantastic inside of a very non-ideal situation. We have, just like Denise was saying, we have control. We can choose. We get to choose. And
Yeah.
that's our responsibility too. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And I've got a piece, if you'd indulge me in reading, about
absolutely.
work, a balance of work, and the fact that work never fails. I went to work. There was work to do. That was the case yesterday too. Just when I thought the end was due, the work grew. I worked hard. Then I worked harder. I worked a lot. Then I worked some more. in the misguided hope that work will all be done. Someone just creates more. I once had a life outside of work. That was before I gave it up to finish the work, the all consuming work that has no end. There is a life I left behind. That is a life that has an end. Lived with those who may not be there when I discover there's too much work at the end of life. On my tombstone, what will be said? Here lived the one who took on work and lost the fight like all those who tried before. My only remorse? I did not realize sooner. Fit in the work that leaves me room to live the life I won't regret.
Bravo. Oh, wow, that was awesome. That's absolutely true. I again, speechless. Okay, next question. That's crazy, amazing. I definitely need to book a call with this man too. Now we have, why should you ask for help when you are trying to improve your time management? And we'll start with Frank.
Great. That's a great question. Right. You should ask for help because by the time you're struggling with time management, you must have tried so many things already. And if it's still not working, it means that there's something deeper that is at play. And that's what someone else can help you do, is to dig deeper to say, why is what looks so obvious becoming so difficult? And so the idea is the good chance that if we dig deep enough, we will find some sort of incongruence between what you say you want to do and what you end up doing. And when we can work out what that is and we can bring them back into alignment, then you'll find out that time management looks after itself.
Awesome. What about you, Tazima? Who should you ask for help when you're trying to improve your time management?
Yeah. So one, don't ask people who are late or don't care. They're not going to help you. I say that in jest, but there are time management professionals. There are also, you can also ask busy people. You can also ask yourself. Like the thing about time management that we sort of try to put on ourselves is that someone else's methods are going to work for us. That's not necessarily true. People who espouse their time management success are talking about methods that worked for them. So specifically with folks who are neurodivergent, which many people are discovering they are, certain ways of being will actually backfire for them. That's why I really encourage people to check in with what's going on for you. What is it for you that works? And then notice what time of day works for me, what to do certain tasks. And then if there's someone who can support you around those, that would be definitely the person to ask. Also, I encourage you to look for people who are moving in the same direction as you are, who have similar goals, a similar drive, are working on something similar. So for people who are entrepreneurs, I don't recommend that they take advice from people who have jobs and vice versa, because entrepreneurs are total rule breakers. Don't talk to us about what you should do at your job. We're going to be like,
Well, have you got one of those?
Exactly. That's the problem. It's not time management.
That's awesome.
That's great advice.
So Yolanda, I think it's really funny, and I think so too. So, and also just to sum up on also what Tazima said, like ask people that are doing what you're doing, but also people that are a little bit above you, right? People you admire, people you strive to be like, and ask them, how do you do it? I want to improve myself and become better at time management. So if you see someone that's always on the dot and always, big schedule, but always not stressed out and always there and always present, like, how do you do that? you know. And a lot of time these people, they would be open to have a conversation with you and all that. And one thing Monica said, ask your calendar. Yeah, absolutely. But I was going to get, you read my mind, I was going to talk about the calendar, because too often, and she said also, fact, you have to create on your rhythms. But one thing about calendar is, you have, like, some people have like Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar or whatever else is out there. But there's also people that have paper calendar, right? Like every year they buy their calendar. And I don't know how many of those I went through. And the tool has to support you too. It has to work for how you work. And there's time where I bought a calendar and I was like, ew, that, even if you look online, you look at what it looked like, but sometimes it doesn't work for you. So maybe asking other people that do use different type of calendars and how they work for you. How do you manage your time with those calendars? Does it work? What's best? What's the downside? And then they can help you also to have a better time management. So that could work out this way. Hold on, water time. All right, what's our next question? We're coming up to an end. What's the one tip for calibrating your life by focusing on your lifestyle? So we'll start with Tazima this time.
Yeah. So my one tip is to, first of all, figure out what things really deeply nourish you. And then use your calendar to schedule those activities in. Do not leave it up to chance. Do not leave it till the end of the day. I'll do it after I do all those other things. Put it toward either the beginning of your week, prioritize it before you move into the work week, or you can also do something that nourishes you ahead of your day. So it's not so much it's a prioritizing pleasure for women is a lifestyle hack. I hate that word. I hate that word, but it's accurate. We can hack our lives so that we can create something different and something new. I promise you, if you start out your day by doing things that you enjoy, even if it means waking up a little bit earlier before the kids or before things start, take that time and
Mm-hmm.
do those things. And as you do those things, you'll see how differently you show up, and your whole day, your whole world looks differently. The reason that it's hard to do this is because the society and our conditioning and our constant rhythm of behavior and even our social circles will encourage us to do the opposite of that, to
Mm-hmm.
show up for them, to create things for them. We're not doing that. Break the rules, your life will change. So yeah, really schedule in your pleasure and make it first. That's my tip.
Wonderful. So that goes with, put your mask on first before you can help others, right?
Exactly. Let me just one thing for the guys real quick. For men, it's not that you can't have pleasure too, but you really, men's needs are urgent and important, so their pleasures are also that way. What I would encourage men to do is to create more meaning, bring more meaning to the pleasures that you seek. What is the impact of the pleasure that you're seeking? Make it support something that you believe in and something that's greater than yourself. Women are already wired to be doing that. So my encouragement to you is to create something along those lines. All right, and that's it.
Thank you.
I don't want to
Well,
leave them totally high and dry.
oh, you're so wonderful. And what about you, Frank? What is the one tip for calibrating your life by focusing on your lifestyle?
Okay, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use two words. One is simplify your life for starters. Stop trying to do everything. And number two is change what you define as success.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can tick off things in your days that you've done that is considered a success, then you will be motivated to do more and to do more of those things that you identify as success. And I'm going to define success for you by this very quick piece. Success is experiencing discomfort because you have touched a reality. Success is opening your heart and feeling something deep within. Success is being more aware of what is good and what could be better. Success is aspiring to be better, more accurately informed by experience. Success is a decision to work on you and model a better way of being. Success is a process, not an end state.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I'll have to re-listen to this episode, to re-listen to Frank's poem. I mean, it's pretty awesome. So for me, the one tip for calibrating my life by focusing on my lifestyle, like the one tip I can do for you is I've been working with people to build an exit strategy from being a full-time parent. So the one thing to calibrate your life is before the kids leave the house as an empty and you become an empty nesters, try to focus on all the tips that these two amazing people just gave you and build on developing your own needs. Put your needs up front, and because once the kids leave, initially you'll be like, oh, party time, but then after a while it's like, oh, the house so empty, right? Like you lose your identity, you lose your sense of belonging, and then you turn around and you face yourself as a woman with a man that's beside you that you didn't really pay attention much in the last 10 years, 15 years, right? 20 years perhaps. So now you're like, okay, but in order to calibrate your life, build an exit strategy from being, for me, for my clients, like being a full-time parent, so that you can start to develop who you are, what do you love, what do you want to create in your life, what do you want to who do you want to be, what do you want the next 20, 40 years of your life be like, and once the kids leave the house. So I think that's how you can start to prepare yourself. All right. Well, that was awesome. And now we go with the announcement. So usually the Grand Maestro in the back decide who's going to go first. So go ahead, Maestro. Frank, what do you have to announce for
us? I have to announce that I work with people, leaders mostly, to go from within and see how they can unleash the leader that is already in them and see what's getting in the way and help them get rid of that so they can create from a place of great creativity. So if you want to get access to inspirational poetry that helps you discover who you are and how to unleash your greatness, then the link is on the screen now. You can connect with me in all the ways possible through that link.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to sign up. And what about you, Tazima?
So I am all about the pleasure. And so please, there is a complimentary sex ed refresh starter pack. Inside of this starter pack, it's a little sort of a set of items that will help you to get started. Inside of that is a pleasure cup exercise, and that will actually help you get started with prioritizing pleasure. If you want to get, you can definitely get a time to talk to me through that course. And then I can also provide that in links as well.
Thank you. And for myself, oh no, not the no, not me. No, not me. Not me. Oh, here we are. Download the ultimate guide, starting over checklist, and that will give you tips and help, because I've been working with empty nesters to rock the second half of their life and build your exit strategy to becoming from full-time parents to becoming awesome couple that live together. Even if you're single, you can have an exit strategy for being a full-time parent. So the guide will help you. There's a 10-step 10 tips to help you start to build that exit strategy and feeling better with yourself and your partner if you have one, and just be awesome and rock that second half of your life as being like becoming grandparents perhaps one day, just like our friend Yo that's watching from the couch, and just have a great time. So my goodness, you guys were awesome. So now let's listen to the announcement from our guru in the background.
OMG. This show was amazing. I'm so excited to share with you that like hanging out with these people is something that we get to do all the time here at the Mink community. And here are some announcements. The first announcement is if you enjoyed this show, we have more for you. That's right. Every single Wednesday and Thursday, we have a show coming for you. You can join the conversation and be a co-host on the couch live. So what you're going to do is you're going to show up at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays or Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time and join in on the conversation. If you got guts and you're like Frank, you're like, I want to put my flows on the screen. That's right. You can actually be on the show by going to MinkLife Motivation Live, minklifemotivation.com/live, and be on the show there. Or you can have us in your pocket, in your car, on the go by finding us everywhere that you find podcasts. So you can go to Spotify, you can go to anywhere, Apple Podcasts, all of these places, just by putting in Mink Life Motivation Live, and you can actually listen to episodes, this episode and past episodes there. This was so much fun. Back to you, Denise.
Thank you, Monica. Yeah, go listen to all our previous episodes because there's always amazing people there too. And thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much, Tazima. It was such a pleasure to discover you and to know more about you. And congratulations. It
Thank
was
you
great
for
to
having
have
us.
you.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you for having me. Absolutely.